Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. By the time the Bible picks up the story, it's been 3 years without rain. To remind you, the king of Israel, Ahab, had not been leading the people in following God like he was supposed to. And to make matters worse, he was married to Jezebel, who was a follower of the false god Baal. And as devout as Ahab wasn't to God, Jezebel was devout toward Baal. So she promoted that faith to the people, and Elijah didn't like it one bit. He told Ahab that he needed to change his ways, and it wasn't going to rain until he did. Now, if you tell a king what he doesn't want to hear, the easiest thing for the king to do is to kill you and get rid of your message. Ahab might also have thought that getting rid of Elijah would stop the drought as well. So Elijah left for the wilderness, where ravens fed him, and then went to Zarephath, where he stayed in an extra room of a widow's house. Then suddenly in the Bible, it's 3 years later, God tells Elijah, "Go, present yourself to Ahab. I'm going to make it rain." So Elijah went to find Ahab. Now, as it happened, Ahab right then was in the process of trying to find grazing land for his horses and herds. He summoned the palace manager, a man named Obadiah, and said, "You go that way to look, and I'll look this way." That's when we start to find out a little about Obadiah, and he's one of those small heroes of faith hidden in the Bible story. Even though Obadiah worked for Ahab, Obadiah had a deep faith in God and tried to be obedient. In fact, once when Jezebel was trying to kill all the prophets of the Lord, Obadiah took 100 of them, hid them in 2 caves, and fed them and kept them safe. That was a pretty courageous and faithful response, one that put him at tremendous risk if it became known. Well, Ahab was looking for grass in one direction, and Obadiah was looking in the other, both of them traveling throughout the land. That's when Elijah came upon Obadiah. He told Obadiah, "Go tell Ahab I'm here and I want to see him." Obadiah responded, "Why are you doing this to me? I've tried to be good and follow God, and now you want me to go tell Ahab you are here after he has searched and searched for you and no one could find you. And what's going to happen is that while I go and tell him, the Spirit of God will carry you off I know not where, and when Ahab comes and you aren't here, he will kill me." Elijah promised Obadiah that he would be there. "I will surely show myself to him today," Elijah said. So Obadiah found Ahab, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. When Ahab saw Elijah, he said, "Is it you, you troubler of Israel?" I'm sure it seemed that way from Ahab's perspective. He didn't want to hear Elijah's message or to be called on to change his ways. From his point of view, Elijah was trouble with a capital T. But Elijah responded, "It is not me who troubles Israel, but you. You and your house have forsaken the Lord." Then Elijah issued his challenge. "Gather all the prophets of Baal, all 450 of them, and then gather all the people of Israel at Mount Carmel. It's time for a showdown, and we will find out which God is real." Now, that's where our story for today ends, a bit of a cliffhanger for tomorrow. But we can't leave it without lifting up once more Obadiah and how he held on to his faithfulness even in the face of personal risk. He leaves us a legacy of faith that invites us to remain faithful in difficult and threatening times. And maybe the other thing is that perhaps when we hear a message that troubles us, we ought to give it consideration. It might be something God is trying to tell us. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.